everyone, I'm Azrael Silver, and welcome back to one of my final breakdowns, at least for now. One of the final guaranteed breakdowns I'll be able to do. I'm also realizing now I don't need my microphone up in my face, okay? Anyway, we're here to break down my puppet performance. Now, it's been 3 weeks, so I'm a little late to it because usually I record it right afterwards and then make it public 2 weeks after the initial video comes out, but either way, I've got it primed and set up right here. Let me just make sure the volume is good. And yeah, this one was 2 parts, a very stressful time in the drama room, and the final performance that we gave. So allow me just to reset that. Wow. Yep. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna stop right here for a minute to break a couple things down. First off, the Toad's Factory theme, that was actually one of our last minute decisions. I think we decided on Tech Day, which was like the day before we actually did it. So we didn't really plan for that before we started doing it. I was like, hey, what if we have like a song to come out to? What if it was Toad's Factory? And so that's what we went with. Also, in terms of costumes, these two went for something simple. The only reason my costume is a little bit more elaborate, if you can even call it that, is just because it's, if you noticed, you probably haven't, but if you notice, it's the same costume I wore for my theater history seminar last year, talking about Anton and our Toad. And although that one wasn't great, I still felt it, fun to just bring that one back and make it my go-to seminar costume. But yeah, so to break down the concept of what the point of this theater history was, this was like half of our culminating, and we were divided into 3 groups. Those 3 groups chose different styles of theater, traditional theater in history, and had to give a seminar talking about like facts about it and its upcoming and whatnot, and then had to do a performance surrounding that idea. So one group did musical theater, of course I did. Another group did vaudeville, and then we chose puppets. They chose puppets actually on my birthday when I wasn't there, so I don't know. Initially I was actually very hesitant to do the idea, but we ended up started working on it more and more, and we had a lot of fun. Because the good thing about this group, as you'll see very, very soon, just in the way we work, this group didn't have a leader. It didn't have a director. We all kind of bounced ideas off each other, and we worked in unison. Tasks were relatively equal in division, and things just kind of worked relatively well. But, you'll see that soon.
Hi, kidlets.
Hi, darling children of God. Hi, forgotten ones.
Do you know why we're here?
Do you know why we're here?
Do you know why we're here?
To teach you about puppets.
Miss Chegas, let us teach you guys about the magical world of theatrical puppets.
Do you even know what theatrical means?
I don't think they do.
Yes, she also informed us that the grade 11s have educational challenge.
So, we found a way to bring you into the world of puppets.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause right there. So yeah, now that you can actually see our costumes, maybe now you kind of recognize it a little bit more. Regardless, for the seminar, we were supposed to have, like, it wasn't necessary, but it was encouraged to have, like, characters and, like, a setting. Hence why it was the same as last year. Last year, we decided to go for, like, a museum-type feel to it. Me, Artist Arts, and Caitlin. We all kind of went for, like, a night at the museum-type feel to it, where, like, oh, we're talking about this guy who's a statue, but this statue also comes to life and brings his own facts and whatnot. This time around, we went for a much simpler idea, where we just played ourselves, educating we said the grade 11s was really the whole class about the world of puppets, as we said. That opening there was like, hi kidlets, hi darling children of God. That's just what our drama teachers called us at various points in time, so we just, we went with that to address everyone. But it's also really relatively inspired. The reason we specifically attacked the grade 11s in the seminar, despite it working very well and it tying to the audience, the biggest reason we did so is because earlier on in the year, the grade 11s actually performed a comedy sketch performing and making fun of us. One of them was the teacher. Well, no, one of them actually ended up being the principal. Funzilla06 ended up being me.
Oh, I get it now. It's because you two are both bitches.
Literally borrowed my clothes and everything. So this time around, it was our turn to get a final punch back at them, which was very fun to do and very nice.
So your little minds will understand.
Are you following so far?
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Today, we will teach you about some of the different kinds of puppets and some of the different kinds of puppet theater.
Let's run this, boss.
Yeah, so that, if you think that was a little awkward, it's because it was. I think in the moment we forgot kind of the order of the lines. So although we knew what lines we had to say, we didn't know when we had to say them. So I think we did some of them early and whatnot, some of them a little late. I never printed off an actual script, so I can't tell you what they actually used to be. But yeah, so we kind of just improvised that a little bit. That's fine.
Gentlemen, thank you, thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Noah. Just finished my totally cool, awesome, epic Lady Macbeth monologue. Outshowed all the others.
And here we see the sock puppet. Now, this is...
So yeah, you can hear them laughing in the background. They're already starting to break. You could see me not being able to contain my smile. At this point, it was already pegged, like from the get-go, you could tell it wasn't meant to be a serious performance anyway, so you could already... I didn't see a point to trying to hide my smile, but I still tried to anyway. Also, don't mind the setback here. This is from the vaudeville performance beforehand. The only thing that's really part of our set is literally the box that we actually made. Well, we didn't make it. We found a cardboard box after doing Snow White, and we cut a hole in the front of it. So you got this hole right here, which is the actual window. We put like a red cloth of some kind. I don't think it's a bed sheet, but it's one of the drum room's red cloths, and we put that through the thing. Use some pins to hold it up. There's some push pins on the sides and whatnot to hold like these blankets on the other side too, because we only spray painted the front. Ended up using a whole can just to do this. The sheep's in front of it just because we're talking to children. And then there's actually holes cut out on either side because we were initially having problems with projection. So we cut out holes on either side. One, to make it more breathable for all of us being stuffed in that cardboard box, and two, so we could hear about it. But yeah, so one of the first things we decided during the seminar was like, okay, who is gonna be which puppet? I was tasked with making the finger puppets anyways. I was like, hey, why don't I be Funzilla06? So I eventually become Funzilla06. And he looks like this. This is our fellow moron from the Three Morons podcast. For some reason, Noah decided to become a sock. That was one of their choices, Quinn and Oliver. And I'll break the rest as we go along because you probably won't know them until I talk about them. So yeah, basically what happens is one of them comes out, we make fun of them, and then I give facts about that type of puppet, and just keeps them engaged.
It's probably one of the first puppets we all think of when we think of puppets. The origins of the sock puppet, much like most puppets, are generally unknown to us because of how old they are. However, the creation of the sock puppet is actually very intertwined from a series of innovations stemming from the creations of the socks themselves. From ancient Greece to Rome to Egypt to Saudi Arabia, allegedly.
Also, yes, I was aware that I mispronounced Saudi Arabia. I knew that the minute I said it, but I was just rolling with it anyway.
One of the first creations we've been able to knit the sock was that of the sock puppet.
Jay, no way. Just watched Snow White. Epic. Amazing. Loved it. Spindiana. Amazing.
Yeah, so the thing with that, in case you don't get how we're making fun of him there, he used to come up to, especially like me, Ethan, Quinn, he'd come up to any of us really after a performance, be like, yo, your character was great. I loved it. You were amazing. Just something like that. So we just kind of made fun of that there because we just did Snow White.
Hey guys, where's my stick? I'm Christina. Buongiorno everyone, I'm Italian.
Yeah, so the humor behind this is one of Quinn's. Quinn decided to make a Christina a rod puppet. The thing about the rod puppet is, one, this was not even his own puppet, so he couldn't do too much to it. But it just so blatantly doesn't look like Christina that it adds some level of humor to it. And it's not even very well made because obviously, he didn't have his stick when he first came out, and Yeah.
Now this,
Hey, I love Quinn and spaghetti.
now this Mario-esque character right here, this is a rod puppet. Now the rod puppet was established in the 16th century. They're very commonly from Indonesia. The typical form of rod puppet that we usually see, especially this one itself, is known as the wayang golek in their country. Now,
I don't know why I said in their country. It wasn't part of the actual script. I felt like I need to clarify that. I don't know. I don't even know why.
they're also known in China. The various multitudes of rod puppets that are seen there are typically found in the Guangdong district.
Also, it's the Guangdong province, not the Guangdong district. I knew I was gonna make that mistake because I nearly made it every time we did a rehearsal of it, and I knew I was gonna make that problem.
I love rainbow glitter positivity. Ah!
Yeah, so that is a puppet making fun of Asya, who is typically very positive. Obviously the worst puppet made of them all, and also the one that was made last. It was just, I don't know, it was very hard to make. And yeah, so these two were made by Oliver, and they're operated by Oliver. Quinn made the ones he operated, I made the ones I operated. It won't be the same for the actual performance, but it's how it went for this.
This is the glove puppet, the majestic glove puppet. Now, the records, should I reiterate, most of these puppets are unknown, yes. But the glove puppet came roughly 1617 from China.
I forgot to say century, and I think I noticed that immediately afterwards.
They used to perform something called, pardon my Chinese.
And that was also improvised. The pardon my Chinese, but I meant to say Mandarin, so I fucked that up too.
Bu Dai Shi, which translates soundly to cloth sack flame.
Hey guys. I'm Serena. My hair's red. I hate everyone except Spavento.
Yeah, so you could see me still trying to hide my smile there, but honestly, it's obviously not working. Yeah, so Quinn also decided to do the hand puppet, and that was that. Honestly, I don't think anyone but him could have pulled that off, so I'm glad he was the one who decided to do so. But yeah, so that's Christina, who has red highlights in her hair usually, and so they made fun of her by just putting a red cloth in it and calling that her hair. Also, the Spavento joke is because before that we did Commedia dell'arte, and I was Spavento. And every time I went into the crowd, I would flirt with the grade 11s, but I'd especially flirt with Serena just because, I don't know, she was there. And so yeah, now it's just kind of there, and she didn't enjoy it at all, so the discomfort, I don't know, it was funny to make fun of that.
Spavento doth approve is what he would say if he was here, but of course he's not.
That was on performance.
Now, the bare hand puppet, as is known, very simple, I get it, but the bare hand puppet is actually one of the newer ones. You see, there was a puppeteer, and he practiced and actually produced the bare hand puppet himself. His name was Yevsoli. Oyoli was born in 1908 and started practice as a puppeteer in 1936. Of course, the official date of when he established the bare hand puppet is unknown to us, but we can see here that he looked to the puppets of his craft at his time, and he said that he decided to remove that of the object puppet, as he called him, instead opting to work with the heart and soul of what made puppets puppets. The hands. Thank you.
My hair's red.
Sorry guys, I'm just sending cool memes on Instagram.
Yeah, so the way it worked is like, yeah, everyone would come out and give like a little, like one sentence that kind of summed up like the things we made fun of about them all. So, you know, actually when I went back there, because I had to get in the space and they were all kind of in the middle, I was like, guys, move, and so they all tucked their puppets away. And then I popped up with and I said that line. And yeah, because he sends memes, but I obviously couldn't say that he sent memes to me, because I was in the middle of the performance. So I just chose Cole instead, because I know Zilla talks a lot with Cole anyway. So yeah, the finger puppet was actually the first one we thought of, just because, I don't know, I actually don't know, I don't remember why we chose it. I think it was just funny if, like, especially compared to the rest of them, Zilla was just a very small puppet. And I don't know why, but it was the first puppet we decided to do. It was the first puppet I ever made, and it was Gabe. Now this one, our initial idea for finger puppets initially came from doing using eggshell curtains, but that didn't work out so well. What I ended up doing, and I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner, I went back to Walmart and I bought myself golf gloves, and I cut the fingers off. So this is a finger of it. The brown material, that's actually from the pants I used to play Spindiana. And so yeah, I cut that in like a weird design and I put on them. Obviously beforehand I colored it with Sharpie marker to make the skin tone, and then I colored over even that with silver to make the SJC pants. And then the back here, the coat, that's made from one of my socks that I only had one of because I missed the other one. And the white is also made from a different sock that I had only one of too. So yeah, that's how he came to be.
And this, as we can see here soundly on my finger, is the finger puppet. Now, the finger puppet is considered child's play by most professional puppeteers in today's society. It's used at most for small-scale interpretations of plays as well as that of visual aids within puppet theater. But it's actually still one of the newer puppets as well. Despite being deemed so harshly, this was created by Hazel Hedges Rollins in the late 1930s.
Okay, now that we've talked about different types of puppets, let's get into different types of puppet theater. Starting with, have any one of you heard of the puppet legends, Mr. Punch and Judy?
No. Not really.
Yes. What is Cheg's teaching you?
Yeah, we didn't. It was something about it being the last day for most of us grade 12s. I don't think any of us really expected it. Although the script kind of suggests that we did, I don't think any of us really expected the crowd to talk this much, and yet they were just a very talkative crowd that day. So we had to kind of play that up. But yeah, there was a lot of vocal interference from the crowd, and I both love that and hate that, depending on the time.
So,
Hey, it's one of the
Mr.
exact
Punch and
thing
Judy
I was.
originated from the Italian Commedia dell'arte from the character Puncello. Now you see, his influence
That's
was
right.
with domestic violence, but they influenced the quote, pleased as Punch.
That does seem like a bad influence.
So okay, I gotta put this out there. The thing that I did, that wasn't something that Zilla usually does. At least it's not something he did all the time. I played it up because that was the typical like if you think of like a stereotypical nerd, that's one of the noises they make, especially when like they push up their glasses. So I just played that up for comedic jokes. And then Zilla ended up texting me afterwards on Discord, was like, man, I never realized how much I said that. I was like, oh shit. Because, although he does do it a little bit, I was more doing it just to play with the stereotypical nerd. It wasn't even meant to make fun of Gabe as much as it was just blatant, he has glasses, let's poke fun at that.
Now you see, with reported records of domestic violence, lawlessness, bold-faced misogyny.
Ollie, remember that we're talking to little children.
Will you shut the fuck up?
Don't be alarmed. That was just part of the demonstration. Children all over the world don't know how to handle their anger, just like how Ollie just so loudly demonstrated. But believe it or not, puppets have helped children all over the world learn how to handle their feelings. Who here knows about the show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Sure.
Yeah?
Me.
A few fans. For those who don't, I don't like you, first of all. A little bit about it. It started in 1963, and it was made by amazing soul, Mr. Fred Rogers, and it ran until 2001. And you guys know what happened in 2001.
Yeah, that was a joke that we kind of debated keeping it, and I was like, oh, do we make a 9/11 joke? I don't know. But then they got dragged out by our camera guy.
No, yo, explain it to us.
You're not old enough for that yet.
Shut up, brother Mike.
So yeah, we didn't expect anyone to make a comment after that, aside from maybe a bit of laughter. But then Eyeless Arts, who was our camera guy for this, because Zilla had to leave for the bus, as you saw, Eyeless went out there and was like, hey, why don't you tell us more about that? And then Quinn had to improvise his line, and then I improvised my line as his brother, so it worked out, I guess, but I don't know.
No, you shut up.
Just kept
his
talking.
intention behind the show was to have conversations with children and teach them lessons that schools don't even teach them. Some lessons adults don't understand. Some of the common themes in his shows are how everyone is an individual and we're all uniquely complex, how our emotions are not responsible for our terrible actions, and how we're all neighbors.
If I can just say, that's kind of weird. I want to go back to my memes. Maybe play some Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize how quick I was talking there, so it did come out come out a little muffled. For those who don't know what I said, if I may say, that sounds kind of weird. I kind of want to go back to my memes, maybe play some Dragon Ball. But yeah, I didn't realize how fast I talked in that moment, so I don't blame anyone if they couldn't hear what I was saying.
Thank you, Gabe. What else? He had a segment on his show where he would introduce puppets, and that was called The Neighborhood of Make-Believe. And he would man all the puppets. It'd be a cute little town, and they, again, would have conversations with the audience through song most of the time, because discussions like that can be kind of devastating. They often sang about how we're all friends. They often sang about loneliness and anger and why we're all beautiful. And the biggest reason why the show was made was because Mr. Rogers believed that children find puppets more enticing than other audiences because it requires a lot of imagination, and adults can't do that. So they planned, the workers with the show planned to teach the children all these important lessons before they grew up, so that when they were adults, the world would be more of a neighborly place.
And there you have it, kids. The wonderful world of puppets.
Now that you have a little information, do you want to see the puppets in the act?
Yeah.
What was that?
But anyway, to make sure you pay attention, we scripted just a tiny show for you, the great audience.
Yay!
Yeah, that Toad's Factory wasn't planned. That was just a mess up in the text script, so. If it comes off as random, that's why.
I hate those grade 12. My hair's red.
Yeah, especially my brother. I live with him.
It is so hard to stay positive with them around.
Yeah, they're just so... What was that?
What?
What is my hair doing?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so our basic premise here was the fact that the grade 11s apparently had some dislike for us, grade 12s, because their opinions matter more than those of the elders. I don't know. I didn't care much for learning about it, and I didn't, really hear anything about it until then. So I was just kind of there and like, okay. So yeah, they're all here complaining about us. That's the basic premise of this short little thing. But we also quickly did a joke about Noah coming in late because he usually did, and it was funny.
Just how stupid those grade 12s are.
Oh,
Minus Win.
well, I don't think they're that bad.
Not that bad? But I just walked on stage and they're fighting again. It's like Dragon Ball.
Added the dragon.
Kidding me!
I cannot wait till next year when they're all gone.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I don't care what you guys say. I'm really gonna miss them. Like Sir E.R. and Quinn. Think about Quinn.
I always think about...
But yeah, it'll be weird not to have them all there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
How could you all talk such bad words about the kindest people we all know? Any one of us could go to any one of them for help, and they would help us immediately.
You're right. I'm gonna miss them.
Not me. Yeah, shut up, not me. I school with my brother, piece of bitch.
We love you, grade 12.
Especially you, Jay, I'm gay for you.
And my hair is red.
Yeah, so I think in doing this, no, stop. Okay, in looking back at this in hindsight, I think it's very clear we completely forgot Ossia existed when we were writing the script. So yeah, obviously we had to improvise with Christina's hair falling off, but that made it funnier anyway. Noah was very true to character the whole time. A lot of my lines with Zilla were, for the most part, scripted, but I always added a little bits at the end. Everything with Dragon Ball was never initially in the script, I just added that afterwards. Calling Arts a bitch was improvised, and then yelling out that he was gay for me was also improvised, but it's also very true because we did act very homosexual to each other during our time in drama, so yeah, you know. And then, I don't know, everyone else is just everyone else.
And my hair is red.
Did you see the Macbeth and Tears?
Yeah, it was honestly worse than that Lord of the Flies play that one school put on.
Yeah, I heard that was bad.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
rewind here. So, to break this part down, obviously we're still mainly in the vaudeville set. Our sets were never very elaborate. Same puppet box, just now with the sheep gone. Just because this is now... The idea was that I randomly stumbled upon... excuse me. Puppetry. As my character. There's a lot of new... if you haven't noticed already just by the seminar alone, there's a lot of nuance to these performances. There's a lot of specific jokes tailored towards the main group in the class that make it a little bit hard for the general audience of YouTube to understand. But yeah, these two are just wearing black because they're supposed to generally represent like tech crew people, or like stage crew. Those kind that aren't meant to be seen but are there on the stage too. So the tickle trunk comes back, and I'm once again inside it, reminiscent of one of my first performances in grade 10. It's held up by a hair comb, but we have what was supposed to be a license plate. This was supposed to be the trunk of a car. So we made a license plate that says LMAC sucks. I actually have... Where did I put the license plate? Because I know I brought it home with me. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Alright, found it. So this is the license plate. Obviously it's flipped on camera. But what we got is we got June, because that's when we performed it. Loserville, just because we were expected, from the get-go, our drama teacher thought that our group would be the least likely to succeed. Because she doesn't have very much faith in either of these two, especially. So we just kind of put Loserville as a way to make fun of that. LMAX sucks. We put that because Lady Macbeth is her favorite character, so we kind of put that as a license plate just to make fun of it. And then we have SJC Canada JOQ, so obviously St. John's College Canada. The JOQ is just our names, so J Oliver Quinn, and yeah, and that's the license plate that I made on, I think, Tech Day, and it's just a piece of cardboard with paper wrapped around it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked it. And so those first couple of lines I've already showed you, the Macbeth play thing, that was just us ribbing on Macbeth because, again, she really likes that play and she really likes those characters, so we were just making fun of it the whole time. And also the Lord of the Flies comment, for one of the adventures of the drama class, I didn't go on it, but halfway through doing Snow White, most of the drama class went on this trip to a different high school. I forget the name of it at the moment, and they went to go see the play Lord of the Flies that they put on. And from what I heard when they came back, it was relatively mediocre at best. So we also just threw that in there as, again, like another little joke for the drama class to relate to.
It was honestly worse than that Lord of the Flies play that one school put on.
Yeah, I heard that was bad, but Macbeth is just so unrealistic.
Yeah, women cannot be that powerful.
Yeah, we weren't like trying to be like horrible to the internet or like start fights on Twitter and whatnot. We really just make that joke to rib even more at Lady Macbeth. That was literally the whole point of it. It was just to piss off our drama teacher.
True.
Macbeth, worst Shakespeare character.
Yeah, I hate Lady Macbeth, and I hate people who love Lady Macbeth.
There, that spells out for you.
What is that?
I think we said Macbeth too much.
It's coming from that trunk, right?
You should go check. I'll
No!
protect the puppets.
Come with me. Here.
1, 2,
3!
Yeah, so to break down this part for you, basically the idea was I got kidnapped for a reason I'll explain later, but also, yeah, I accidentally knocked down the sign. I didn't even notice until I started rewatching it back afterwards. Them fixing was also something I didn't realize. Now I'm wearing it's not my Two-Face costume. It's very similar to my Two-Face costume. Pants, they're new pants, not the same ones I wore for Two-Face. Same with the shirt. It's actually a short sleeve, as you'll see very soon. The only thing that's similar to it is the fact that I'm wearing the same jacket. And the reason I'm wearing the same jacket, and it wasn't fully explained, but it's something I want to do, and I talked to my colleagues before this, and it was one of the first thoughts I had, was just, like, I wanted to go for some Naked Gun style humor, like some Leslie Thompson kind of movie style humor. Or no, Leslie Nielsen, sorry. Like the Leslie Nielsen movies, I want to go for that kind of humor where it's very over the top and very crazy, but it also just kind of is treated like normal. Like the people in that world don't really acknowledge it to be anything strange. It's just kind of there, you know? But it's completely bizarre in this world. So I kind of liked that idea that I had like this half-burnt jacket and like, oh, I was kidnapped. Like some horrible shit could have been done to me, and yet I shrug it off because, you know, it's just normal. It's another Tuesday. I want to go back to the performance, you know? So I don't know. I thought that was funny. Even if it didn't garner laughs, I thought it was just a neat thing to add anyway.
Where am I? Oh, what time is it? Oh, shit.
Hello everyone, just editing me here. I forgot to mention something very critical as performance while I was doing the breakdown, so I figured I'd just insert it right here. You see, I talked about it in the seminar portion where I said that we were just playing ourselves, but I never really talked about our characters in the actual performance. We don't even address our actual names, but we did have names. I was Cody Ashmore, Cody obviously being inspired by Cody Rhodes, which I guess is not that obvious, but still, I don't know, it's just something I threw in there. And then Ashmore just sounded like a name an actor would have, even though I know no actors with the name Ashmore. Regardless, Quinn's character is Chris Chegg, as a rib on our drama teacher, Kristen Cheggis. So there's that. And Oliver, his name is Guy Manson. Like the most manly name we could think of for someone who was as they are. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah, but that was just a quick little side note. Again, just another rib at people, but it was one that never really got disclosed. So there you go. There's like your minute 20 long update. Have fun. Yeah, so that wasn't even me like trying to flip through the coins to get it. It was literally me thinking every coin, because I kept the coins in my pockets with my pocket watch. It was me thinking that every coin was the opening to the pocket watch, because I was panicking as my character and I wasn't really looking what I was doing. So every time I tried to open my pocket watch, I would just flip another coin by accident. And so I did that like twice, and then I finally got my pocket watch open.
Oh, God. I'm late! Damn! Which way is it to the production?
Hey, what were you doing in that trunk?
Look, dude, it doesn't even matter, okay? I'm never gonna make it. It's hopeless. It's pointless. I don't have a car anymore. I don't have a costume. I failed the production.
You could join ours.
I'm telling you, it's pointless. Pointless, okay? I was meant to be a star, okay? A star, and now Now it's all gone to waste because of some semi-decent looking guy.
We do need a third puppeteer still.
Yeah, after our boy Noah dipped on us.
Again, another joke about Noah usually being late.
So we're gonna give him a chance.
I guess it's our only option.
I should mention, actually, we wrote this performance's script before we wrote the seminar, just because we had to write a script for our third period class. Well, mine and Quinn's third period class. So we ended up killing two birds with one stone, writing our script for this performance before then, and used it both as both classes culminating, which worked pretty well. So, you know, that's just what ended up happening. So we wrote this one beforehand. What's actually interesting about it is that I wrote my lines, and I wrote like stage directions, and I wrote kind of where I wanted their lines to go, but I let them write their own lines, so everything came off natural. And it did. We didn't even follow most of the stage directions, as most actors don't anyway. But yeah, I don't know.
What production were you gonna perform?
in?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. You probably heard of it. Oh, yes. Oh, it is one of the greatest feats of stage play ever. Oh, I'm telling you, it is a masterpiece written by a genius that we had no right to read. It is a generation-defining art that will transcend time. Clue! Oh, what a role. I mean, I was going to play the lead. I was going to play the butler. I was going to be Wadsworth. Yes. Oh, what a role. And oh, I'm sorry. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen.
That was honestly some of I think the best over-the-top acting I've ever done. Especially that last part right there. I had a way that I envisioned it in my head, and I wanted to do it that way, but I was never sure if I was actually hitting it the way I want to, and looking back on it, I definitely think I hit it exactly the way that I wanted to in like an over-the-top kind of method. But yeah, so I'm dressed in a fancy suit, whatnot, kidnapped, everything, and it's all because of Clue. The joke behind that, because I have to explain that too, is that my school did like a major production this year, just like we did last year with that chorus. This one was even bigger than that, and it was Clue. And I, from the get-go, immediately turned down an offer to be a part of it. So I was literally the only actor within the entire school who wasn't in some way, shape, or form part of the play. And that was very well documented within class and whatnot. Another thing about it was that my teacher, the drama teacher, told me that if I was part of Clue, I would have gotten a lead role, perhaps the lead role. I would have taken the place of one of my fellow actors, not in this, not between these two, but like one of the people watching the performance right now. So our basic premise through the entire scene, we had like a list of ideas. I actually have it over here. I thought I did. Oh no, it wasn't. I put it back in my. I think I threw it out already. Oh no, I didn't. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay, so we had this idea, right? And these are all our ideas. So it says seminar idea. Kids at puppet show finding out puppets aren't real. Puppet guy explains puppets to them. Gives them a book about puppets to read. The children read points. So obviously this idea was scrapped, but this was one of our initial ideas for the seminar. We also had this one, audiences, children, puppet lecture. That is more like our idea. And then we kind of figured out the puppets. So grade 11s as puppets. So Quinn would do Christina, who's a glove puppet. Ollie would do Ossia as a hand puppet. Noah was a sock puppet. Serena was a hand puppet. And I would be doing them as a finger puppet, and that was just like a rough sketch of Zilla as a puppet. And the performance. So we had a bunch of ideas. Make fun of grade 11s / face pics for grade 12s. Kind of did this, kind of not. That more became the seminar. Instead of 2 big shows, 15 minutes, we do 3 5-minute shows. Like we were gonna cycle through them, and you kind of see that here. We have like the Puppet Rogers part, we have the Punch and Judy part, and then we have my part. So we do kind of have that concept, but we kind of made it more cohesive and one, you know? Clue After Dark. That's the point we went with, and it's circled as you can see. Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's just an idea they threw out. The Jonas Brothers, still don't know who they are, but that was the idea that they threw out. And then teachers. So we were making fun of teachers. But that idea never came to be either. So our Clue After Dark idea was the idea that we would perform Clue, but like what happened around Clue. Not necessarily touching upon Clue, but just like the general points of it. So that was kind of what we decided to do. We decided to make fun of Clue because it's something everyone knew about. It was still relatively recent at the time. So the joke, the kind of premise we went for is the reason I wasn't a part of Clue. And so, yeah. He was in it, and he was like the tech guy for it, and I wasn't a part of it. So we're kind of like, oh, what happened to me? Why wasn't I part of Clue? It turns out I was kidnapped. I was thrown in a box. That's the general premise of it. So yeah, I'm a guy who's really into Clue. It's my project. It's my destiny. I was supposed to have a lead role, but I never ended up going to it.
Never heard of it.
So it sounds like garbage.
A game needs to stay a game.
And what do you suggest we do instead?
As long as it's not Macbeth, am I right?
Tis a unchin cottage coxcomb.
Yeah, check it. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, the fact that the audience was laughing every other time, and then the minute I said stupid, they weren't laughing, adds to like the cringiness of it. But it's like although I hate the fact that no one laughed at it, at the same time, it's like the perfect reaction to it because that's exactly the emotion that they were supposed to be having, was that kind of cringe factor. I mean, I was kind of hoping that they'd laugh at it because it was so cringy, but the fact that they didn't, and you can feel the cringe of it, it's just so good.
Let's just show them the stage.
Here it is.
Ta-da!
It's right behind you, bro.
Yeah, so obviously the whole time we had to make do because we thought we initially intended to have a lot more space than we actually did. So like I want to say 90% of the movements we make, especially in front of the puppet stage, are improvised.
This is the stage.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
That was nice.
you know, it may not be high quality, but
That line was improvised.
I think it could work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So let the games begin!
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys ready to play some, Wadsworth's Greatest Hits?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so we decided during tech that I had to take my jacket off to fit in that box because with the burnt arm and everything, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So now he's being Mr. Rogers. You'll notice that the seminar and the Clue thing are very intertwined.
Hi, everyone!
Hello!
Today, we have the special pleasure of talking with my favorite friend, Mr. Wadsworth!
Good evening, everyone.
So yeah, Oliver made this puppet too. And also I added my Spavento arm brace to it, so it made it look a little bit more dashing. But yeah, so sock puppets in their entirety were entrusted to Oliver to make. Quinn made the Christina and the Serena puppets. I don't know if he made any more aside from that. I know Oliver makes one more, and I make the rest of the finger puppets.
There he is. Everyone say hi, Mr. Wadsworth!
Hi, Mr. Wadsworth.
Oh, was that the doorbell? Are you expecting someone?
Yes, indeed, I'm expecting one of my closest friends, Mr. Colonel Mustard.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so I actually forgot to make a finger puppet of Colonel Mustard, so Ollie improvised one on the spot, and this is the only finger puppet that wasn't made by me.
Buddy!
Aw, he even has his little thing. Aw, that's so sweet. Aren't they the best of friends? But it hasn't always been like that, has it, boys? How about you tell us your story?
Yeah, Waddy used to bully me so much.
Yes, I apologize many times for that. But you see, kids, when I took out my anger on Mr. Kern over here, yes, that is his actual first name, I realized I was actually angry at myself.
So, Mr. Colonel, do you forgive Mr. Wadsworth for all the pain he's induced on you?
Absolutely.
Oh.
But I'll never forget it.
Oh.
But I realized something, kids. You see, in order to be forgiven, one must first ask for forgiveness.
Just by saying sorry?
No, stupid! I mean, silly. In order to truly be sorry, you must show it, not just say it.
So, how did you show it?
He gave me a hug. His hug was filled with so much love, I knew it. Come here, you.
Oh my. That was a hug. Isn't that sweet? Wow. So the lesson of the story is, of course, not to hurt people. Have you ever hurt someone before?
No. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get to finish my interview.
Yeah, so I didn't get to finish that wasn't initially scripted. The running joke with that was that during Snow White there was a line from the mirror, which was played by Ethan. At the very end, during the bonus scene, where he gets cut off during his song that he was supposed to have, and he goes, "I didn't get to finish my song," but the way that Ethan delivered it was just so funny. So they brought it back in his performance because his group went first, and his group was musical theater. So they did something, I forget how they said it, but they brought back I didn't get to finish my whatever, and then they did that. And then vaudeville did the same thing. I think that theirs was planned though. Both of them were planned, but ours wasn't planned. So to kind of make the trifecta happen, Quinn brought it back here. It was like, I didn't get to finish my interview, and it's just, I don't know. It was a neat little touch.
Hey, listen. You know what? I can't keep this up. Thank you guys. That was fun. It was.
Yeah. I like that.
I just don't think we're hitting the right stride here. You know, like sure, Clue could be shown to children, but it had some elements for adults.
Some adults don't know how to say sorry either.
Okay, can you shut up with your positivity acting?
I forgive you.
Okay. If we're gonna make this work, how about you guys just follow my lead this time, okay?
What?
So this one's supposed to be the closer to Clue adaptation play. This is actually the song apparently that they used in Clue as well.
Good day, or evening, I can't even tell. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been expected. Allow me to set the stage for you. You see, my employer, Mr. Body of the prestigious Body Manor, has been trying to exploit our guests.
I forgot that Quinn made the paperback puppet.
But of course, in reality...
Yeah, so I made those three, and I made one that I'm gonna hold up and one that Quinn's gonna hold up too. And actually, right now, I'll take a second, because I did take photos of them. Not for this, I was just showing them to my friend Jess as time went along. So, yeah, quick photo of close-ups of the finger puppets here. Okay, now that you've hopefully seen them and enjoyed them and admired their detail, I break down every one of them, but I don't have them with me right now to do so. I don't have a means to get the photos of them, so I can't do that either. Regardless, if you guys want to see that, maybe I'll do a quick breakdown video, 10-15 minutes down the line. I can break down the puppets and how I made them.
It is he who is the puppeteer pulling the strings.
And so I am. You're all here today because you have lethal weapons or something, and you believe the evidence against you is so terrible that you would do anything to let me forget about. I'm a bag. I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Quinn actually had the general premises of the lines like written down in like 1 or 2 words on the side here, because he was trying to memorize his lines the whole time, and the lines he had the most trouble with were his Mr. Body lines, because what we actually did for our thing is like copy and paste the portion of the Clue script that we want to use and put it into the thing. So we kind of literally put Clue into our performance, and that was that.
And the only thing that costs you guys dearly is your money. And I'm paying you. No, you guys are paying me.
See what I mean? It's all improvised.
You understand our guests are here for our delighted evening.
Yeah, delighted indeed. I wouldn't have to charge you guys extra if Mr. Wadsworth would stop being rude.
It's a lie.
No, he may look suave and charming and made of felt,
Thank you.
but really, he's conniving and manipulative and made of a sock.
That's a lie.
I was supposed to say false there. I ended up saying the same line twice.
If you guys can manage to make him sorry for his sins, there will be no need for me to make you guys have worse lives.
Why not do it, buddy? Why not do your dirty work yourself?
Why would I, when you guys are so uniquely motivated and armed? What a patriot. My hair's blonde.
After everything I've done for you,
It's all
do
improvised.
you understand? Please, and just shut up. Do you understand? He's a liar. I'm one of you. I'm not a butler. I'm an indentured servant.
Familiar refrain, mister. If you guys can manage to get rid of...
Get rid of? Does he mean kill him?
And if you guys can brutally murder this fool, then I will have
I
no
improvise
need
this too.
to... then I will have no need to increase... Stop it!
And then the laugh. That was actually a fear I had, knowing that how funny this performance had the potential to be, was giving Arts the microphone and knowing how loud his laugh is by itself. So having the camera so close to his face, I knew this was gonna happen. But yeah, if we end up speaking because we did like give the audience time to kind of laugh it off before we moved on. Usually, we were kind of prepared for that. So if there's ever a moment where we're talking, I'll be sure to try my best to put in what was initially being said over top of Orts' laughter.
You're making me all crinkled. I would have no need to make your life worse by putting you in the paper or something like that. The police are on their way. They're coming, so if you guys want to follow like what I was just saying and kill them, now's your chance.
Do it. Don't turn off the lights.
Yeah, so that wasn't actually part of the script, the line about the lights. For some reason, I just got very, in my own head, and I was very nervous that the tech person would forget to turn the lights off, because I know we had improvised a lot of the scene, so, just to kind of give them a signal, hey, remember to turn off the lights, I kind of improvised the idea that, oh, no, don't turn off the lights, please, and then they end up turning off the lights. I don't know, actually, I've never actually confirmed with them whether they actually remembered to turn off the lights or not beforehand. But it was just something I got in my head, oh no, what if they forget? And then I gave that line improvised to do so. Yeah, so to kind of break that down, just because I feel it necessary, as I said, we copy and pasted the clue into our script. The difference being that when it came time to perform, the fact that Quinn as Mr. Body, who is kind of like the runner of the scene, didn't have his lines fully prepared, actually helped us. My biggest concern was the fact that we might have been sued by the writers of the Clue play when I put this up on YouTube. Luckily, the lines are so fucked up that I don't think that ever happened. So with Quinn's Mr. Body lines being messed up, my lines were kind of contorted, because you guys know how I work when it comes to improvising things. I take my lines and I keep them true to their source material, but I still alter it just to kind of fit the new medium of what's happened. Kind of like what I did with Time of Your Life. So my lines were relatively similar to what they were supposed to be, but they were also flipped a little, and some of them were improvised completely just to make up for, responding to Quinn properly. And then Oliver's lines were usually like very close, if not exactly what was supposed to be said, but they were so few and far in between because everything was like, just all over the place. And even if his lines were completely perfect, they were so like in random orders and said weird times and not replying to the lines that they were initially replying to, because we ended up missing so much. And not that we needed to. This is copyright free now, and I'm so happy for that because it's completely our own work at this point. But it was just so messy that it became this perfect concoction because we all just played off each other. Because again, that's the beauty of not having a director. We all of us being equally directorial. Some have said that I was a bit, like, a step up a little bit above them. But all of us being on equal footing, like, in terms of directorial fashion, just made this work because we all had the same mindset going into it. We all knew what we had to do. We all had the audience in the palm of our hands anyway. So even if things went awry, we would be able to recover from it, as you've just seen, because we were just that in sync. And that, in my opinion, is what made the performance so good and so organic and so naturally obtaining of the reactions we wanted to, is because it wasn't, we have some leaders in the drama room, Caitlin, Ethan, maybe Michaela, but like the three of us who weren't very driven to be a director, and I think that's the reason why our teacher thought we would fail. Three people who didn't really want to be leaders being put in a group together with no leader made for amazing work because it wasn't just one person's vision, it was everyone's, and I think that was our strong suit. I think so. So yeah, I don't know, that's just a little piece there.
Okay, listen. These are cool and all, but it's missing something.
What? Yeah, what do you mean?
Okay. Have you ever heard of the puppet legends, Mr. Punch and Judy? Okay, well, hear me out. I was thinking that, but Clue.
Okay, so like a slapstick comedy, like more physical?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure that's how it was done, personally. But you know what? My head hurts. I'm probably concussed. My identity's been stolen. Why not try something more physical?
Perfect.
Yeah, so really horrible missed opportunity here. If you remember at the beginning of the performance, we did a little thing, like it was a brief segment, like 3 lines at most, where we just made fun of Macbeth some more. And Quinn was like, yeah, 'tis an unchinned snotted coxcomb. We actually went on a Shakespearean insult generator and we selected that one from the bunch. We were supposed to bring that back one more time right here. And one of them, I forget which one of them, was supposed to be like, hey, at least it's not Macbeth. Or like, I'm glad Macbeth isn't in this. Or like, no, I think the line was, I wish Macbeth was in Puppet so I could beat her up, or something like that. And then the other one was supposed to like agree with them in some fashion. And then after being cringy in the last one, I was supposed to say, yeah, tis and then a censor bar was supposed to go up. And I was just gonna, and it's supposed to be implied that I was swearing the hell out of Macbeth, and it was gonna be funny. But no one mentioned Macbeth. I think we were almost too focused on doing the puppet shows that we forgot about the little bits in between. So we never ended up bringing back the Macbeth thing. We never ended up doing the censor bar, and that was one of our favorite moments that we were initially planning to do. So it was just a huge missed thing, and it was unfortunate, but it wasn't something that was supposed to happen. And then, yeah, we were going to high five after and everything. It's going to be so funny. At least I thought it would have been funny. I was hoping it was going to be funny, but I don't know. It didn't happen.
I know who the killer was.
All right, Mrs. Scarlett, who do you accuse?
It was Mr. Plum in the bathroom with a...
Okay, I don't know why he moaned, but the general thing was that he was gonna improvise some random tool that he was using to try and kill. I guess he couldn't think of something and just resorted to that. I don't know why, but it's what happened.
Enough. Ah, you make a mess.
Anyways, it wasn't me.
Who do you accuse, Plum?
It was Mr. Mustard. In the lounge with the wrench.
I never lounge in the wrench.
Oh, can you please stop it? You realize that the mayor's dead, which means I have to clean it up.
I know who the killer was, Mr. Fancy Pants. It was Mrs. White.
Okay, so I am obviously operating Miss White here. The thing was, though, I didn't realize that I forgot I didn't have a line, so I started saying like I would never or something like that. But then I quickly realized like halfway through that like, oh shit, I don't actually have a line. I'm just supposed to fight them. So I just kind of transitioned into a scream, just being so outraged, and that was that. I don't know.
What, you idiots! Enough! I think it was Miss Peacock in the kitchen with the tiny pencil. I've had enough of you swines!
It was Miss Scarlet.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Frankly, Miss Scarlet,
What is he doing?
This was actually not improvised at all.
I don't back down! Anyway, you're noticeable. You see, I am not Mr. Wadsworth. I am Mr. Body!
Yeah, because of the sock, I couldn't feel if I ever actually got my hand in the paper bag. So I was holding it there the whole time, like, oh, I hope this works. I don't know.
Wait, guys, wait, hold on. Stop it, you okay? Yeah, but we can't just say, oh my god.
I actually clashed with him there. And he forgot he was recording.
Okay, we gotta go. I know who it is. I remember. I think I had a photo of him somewhere. Oh shit! Yeah, he was. Yeah, guys. This is the guy. He stole my identity.
Yeah, so that right there, I think it's actually back here. Oh no, that's my words. Where'd I put it? Here it is. So that photo I'm holding right there, you can see it pretty well, but you can't see it perfectly. That's this photo. It's a picture of Ethan Russell because we had to use headshots to make a poster for our performances, our culminating performances in grade 10. So this was the photo he sent in because he had COVID at the time, so he couldn't come in anyway. But we were doing Stressed, so this is a little callback to that. But we had to find like the derpiest photo of Ethan that we could, and I just had this one on my camera roll, so I sent it to Quinn, and Quinn printed it off, and we used this one, and asked the photo has been held there. And it's a beautiful photo of Ethan. I love it. Him in his wig and his hippie glasses and his bandana and everything is so cool. It's so nice. It really is.
Stanley, I met him in Shakespearean plays. Yeah, we were doing theater studies. His name. Fuck, what was his name? Lester Nett.
Wait, how do you spell that?
Oh, God, it's been a minute. If memory serves me right, it's I think it's LESSUR. I think that's where the space comes.
Space?
Yes.
Do I-
No,
do I
just,
space?
no, just
The whole
space
space
bar. That's
thing
right,
was
space bar.
improvised.
NAHTE. Yeah, that's it.
You spelled it backwards.
But I wrote the space.
Look, guys, it doesn't matter. This is the guy, and he's probably with the crew right now. He stole my identity. We gotta stop this guy.
Okay,
We're just a couple of puppeteers for hire. What can we do?
We can catch him in the act.
sounds good. What do you have in mind?
Well, I know where the production is headed, which means I know where we gotta go. We gotta go to Paris. Find a guy named St. John. He should be living in condo number 103.
And you think this John guy can help us from his condo?
Do I?
Yeah, so St. John's College, 103, the classroom of the drama room. Paris Road is where St. John's is located.
Let me explain something to you, buddy. Okay. He's paying for the venue that they're playing at. He can do more than help.
Okay. Guys.
What? I hate
Guys. Ready? What? Okay. So you know how we trying to be productive and everything, and like we're super excited to do this, but can we get a quick photo for the gram?
Yeah, so the joke behind this is like a final send off. It's once again a rib at our drama teacher, because throughout the years during any of the semesters, she would stop us, regardless of how productive we were being, for photos for Instagram, especially during Snow White and whatnot. So we decided at the very end of this we would make that kind of joke. And initially we kind of like stopped. It's like, okay, wait, hold on, guys, real talk here. Are we going too far with this? But that we ended up doing it anyway, and it was funny. She wasn't a fan for obvious reasons, but it was funny.
Ready?
I'm so tired.
like 5 times a day.
My God.
Dude.
Hurry up.
And then yeah, Caitlin, who was recording for Chegus in a wig that she bought for some reason, decided to get into the photo. Because again, the drama class was hyperactive and whatnot during this period. And you'll see in a second.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. I am so utterly confused as to why she was there. Part of me literally wanted to make a comment and be like, hey, just get back to your goddamn spot or something like that. You're interrupting the show. But I had to like refrain myself for a second there. You can see that my mind is not currently focused on the performance. I was, for a moment there, I was perplexed.
Can we go now?
Hey, don't be yelling at me. You two were the ones who decided to be unproductive. I'm not even being paid to be here after hours.
Yeah, so this is again another joke about our drama teacher. So she would like, there would be a lot of times where we would choose to do something that she didn't want to do. I can't remember a specific example. I think one of them was most of the class taking a day off to rehearse. Fuck, what is it? I think there was one point where a lot of the class skipped school, went to one of their houses, and just rehearsed all day for either, I can't remember, I don't think it was Comedia, I think it was Clue, maybe, if not Snow White, or something like that. It was something like that where we chose to be productive on a different thing regarding drama rather than the main focus. And so our drama teacher would constantly be like, well, you guys chose to waste time on this when you could have been focusing on that. And we were always just like, man, this is such bullshit and whatnot, because it genuinely was. So that was kind of the first part of that. The second part of that was during Snow White, where we were trying to debate I forget the conversation. It was a while ago. I think we were talking about scheduling or something like that, and our drama teacher was getting very annoyed because she wasn't being paid for the after hours that she was staying to help us with Snow White, or help us. So she would always be like, yeah, I'm not even being paid to be here after hours. And that was probably the most, the highlight of her entire speech that day. And that kind of just stuck with us grade 12, because we'd all sit there on the stage and be like, but we're not being paid to be here either. What the fuck? So, yeah, we made fun of literally as much as we could about it was basically, these past two performances were really just one big middle finger to the whole drama classroom as a whole. Because it was such a mess the entire time. I could go into detail about that, but I've already spent an hour breaking this down. The dynamic of the drama class was so weird. It was such a strange time.
Neither are we!
So yeah, that was basically it. And that breaks down our drama, our time in the drama board. That not only stops and halts our performances, but it represented our final performance within drama. And honestly, I couldn't think of a better one, really. Now that we're done, I want to do like a kind of like a tier ranking thing where I kind of just let you guys know what my favorite performances are. And, you know, I plan to do that eventually once I have the time. But it's just not that time right now. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this performance. I think a lot of us did. The audience reception to it was very, very nice, very well. Everyone loved it. Some people even said it was one of our best performances we've ever done. And yeah, everything was just behind the scenes, like the three of us, we were so cohesive, so nice. Caitlin almost got added to our group, and we all didn't want that to happen because that would have thrown everything. Because again, like I said, Caitlin's very directorial. But our trio dynamic just worked so well. We accomplished so much together. Like I said, we were the group that was expected to fail from the beginning, and we ended up being like unanimously, I think is the word that I'm trying to use there, the best group according to literally anyone you ask from the drama room in that performance. And we brought our A game. It was very pressure oriented. We were under a lot of stress to prove that, yeah, we weren't failures, you know. We shouldn't be overlooked like we had been. We had to prove that we were capable of doing great things, and we made that. The puppets were all made by us. The stage was made by us. There were very few things within that entire performance that weren't made by us to some extent. We used very few resources from the drama room themselves. The tech was relatively simple. The performances met the time requirements that were necessary. The seminar being 10 minutes, the performance being 15 minutes. Even when we missed lines, even when things were improvised, it still went on naturally, organically. It still went well. There were very few blips or things that weren't intended to happen as they were. It was just, it was so good. And from a production standpoint, it was nearly perfect, I think. I don't know. It'll always be a good performance to look back on. Regardless of how many times I look back at it, because I have looked back at it like 10s, 20s of times. It always puts a smile on my face at the very least. It's just so nice. It was such a good thing for us to do, and I was very proud of the outcome of it. In a way that I have never actually felt before, but there's a lot of factors that go into that. And yeah, so now I'm done performing. I'm retired from drama at the SJC World, and now if I perform, it'll be for different things, bigger, better places, and we'll see how things continue. Regardless, that has been my breakdown of my puppet theater performances. Went on for a little bit longer than I would have liked, but kind of what I generally expected. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am as just so like, comment, subscribe. Not for more of this, but you know, hopefully you enjoyed the performances. In case you missed some of the playlists in the description below, please in the comments tell me what your favorite one was. I'm always happy to hear. Thanks to Isla's Arts for being my camera guy some of the time, especially in this one. Funzilla6 for being my camera guy, and a lot of my other performances. And everyone, in case any of the drama crew watch this, you know, anyone who was ever my tech, anyone who was ever the sound for my performances, just generally gave me pointers, tips, made the performances what they are. Thank you, everyone. You know, it was a great time. Thank you.